We've got a lot to go over, so let's jump right into it. If you're training for a marathon, you already know that running is only half the battle. Recovery, adaptation, and mental resilience are just as important. And that to me is where cold plunging comes in. Most people think of it as an ice bath is just for sore muscles, but the truth is it goes way deeper than that. Today, I want to break down all of the biological and performance enhancing reasons why cold plunging is a game changer for endurance athletes. And we're going to go over some things I guarantee you've never even heard of. Every hard run creates micro tears in your muscles, which is why you feel sore afterwards. That soreness is basically your body dealing with inflammation. Cold plunging works almost like a reset button. When you get into the cold water, your blood vessels constrict, which reduces swelling and inflammation. Then, when you get out, those blood vessels dilate and open up again. Think of it like rinsing out a dirty sponge. The bad stuff gets flushed out and the good stuff rushes back in. That's why so many athletes bounce back faster after tough training sessions when they're using a cold plunge. And for marathon runners, that extra quick recovery can mean more quality miles in training and less burnout. Running doesn't just stress your muscles. It also taxes your nervous system. Long runs and speed work push your body into fight or flight mode quickly. And if you stay there for too long, recovery suffers. A cold plunge shocks your body back into paying attention. But here's the key, you have to breathe through it. This practice strengthens your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest side that calms everything back down. Over time, this balance leads to better sleep, higher heart rate variability, and a nervous system that recovers faster between tough workouts. And for a marathon runner, that's like having a stronger battery that also recharges much faster. Now, I can't speak from experience here, but I hear marathons hurt. I'm actually training for my first marathon, and that's why I wanted to make this video. But from what I hear, marathons hurt. And at some point in the race, your legs are gonna feel like bricks, and your mind is gonna wanna quit. Me and my wife have just been training for this marathon, and we've already had some of those feelings. But the good news is, a cold plunge is like a mental rehearsal for that moment. Cold exposure floods your brain with endorphins and can raise dopamine levels for hours, giving you that runner's high feeling without all the additional miles. But this also teaches you to sit comfortably in that discomfort. You practice breathing, staying still, and not panicking. So when race day hits and you're at mile 18, your brain already knows how to stay calm under pressure. And that training can help get you through it easier. That's a huge mental edge that most runners never train for. I do want to take a quick second and say thank you to Coldure for being today's video and topic sponsor. If you don't have a cold plunge and you want to get one for yourself, I encourage you to take a look at the Coldure products. I have a link and discount code down in the description below that supports the channel, but also saves you a ton of money. They've got a ton of great options. This is the Coldure Cold Plunge Pro Lite. It's one of my personal favorites. I can count on this cold plunge to always be operational, to always be cold, and to always be clean. And compared to a lot of the cold plunges on the market, it's pretty affordable. They've got an option for every budget, and they've been sponsoring this channel for a long time, so I'm super grateful for them, and I would encourage you to take a look at their product lineup, but once again, do that after the video. Now let's talk about something very important. Here's an important nuance that most people miss. If you cold plunge immediately after every run, you might actually reduce some of the natural adaptations that happen. Things like muscle growth and mitochondrial signaling. These happen from inflammation, which a cold plunge is going to blunt inflammation from happening. And for marathon runners, when you're training, you don't want to completely shut this down. A smart strategy could be something like this. After easy runs or just recovery jogs, cold plunge right away. This will help you bounce back faster and recover much faster. But after really long runs and even speed work, I would probably suggest you wait about 4 hours before jumping into that cold plunge, even though it's gonna be calling your name. You wanna let those training signals lock in before you plunge. And during your taper week, I would say cold plunge after every run, because at that point, recovery is the most important thing. But listen to your body and understand when you have inflammation, that is a good thing. Cold plunging will blunt that, but there definitely is a strategy behind when cold plunging is best. And at the end of this video, I'll go over what my protocol has been that's been working for me. One thing that runners often forget is that endurance isn't just about muscles. It's actually about blood flow. Cold plunging trains your blood vessels to constrict and dilate, almost like strength training your circulatory system. Over time, this improves vascular flexibility and increases circulation efficiency. That means better oxygen delivery during your runs and quicker removal of waste products like lactate. Imagine it like upgrading your body's plumbing system. Flexible pipes move fluid a little better, and that makes a huge difference when you're grinding it out for 26.2 miles. Here's where it gets really interesting. Cold exposure can stimulate something called mitochondrial biogenesis, which basically means your body creates more mitochondria, the power plants inside each of your cells. More mitochondria equals better energy production, especially from fat stores. So you're not just relying on glycogen, which is why you see marathon runners constantly sucking down gels and different things throughout their runs to increase their glycogen. Because in marathon running, that's everything. It helps you avoid hitting that wall at mile 20, when glycogen typically runs to 0. And by training your mitochondria by both running and cold plunging, you're teaching your body to be a more efficient endurance machine. Marathon running takes a toll on your immune system. A lot of runners catch colds during heavy training blocks because their bodies are run down. Cold plunging increases norepinephrine and boosts white blood cell activity, which helps your immune system stay sharp. It's not a guarantee you won't get sick, but it does improve resilience. And if staying healthy means you don't miss that crucial long run, it's a win. Oh man, I might have to get in there. It is so hot. And it feels so good in there. Another overlooked benefit is stress inoculation. Cold plunging is a controlled stress. You're putting yourself into a stressful environment, but you're learning to stay calm. That skill transfers to racing. When your legs are burning and your heart rate is redlined, you've already practiced staying calm during chaos. It's like you've been performing fire drills for your brain. So on race day, you know how to keep moving forward, even when everything inside you is screaming to stop. So, now let's talk about how do you actually use cold plunging during your marathon training. Well, I'm not a professional marathoner, but here's a practical guide of what I've been doing. I probably break the mold a little bit because I do cold plunge multiple times per day, but my favorite thing to do before every single run is cold plunge. And I'm not just gonna tell you I cold plunge, I'm gonna give you the exact time and temperatures that I personally do. Another reason why it's important to have a cold plunge that you can control the temperature like a Coldure cold plunge. My morning cold plunge is typically between 50 and 55 degrees for between 2 to 4 minutes, depending on time. Staying in there longer means my body temperature is gonna stay lower longer during my run, and I can actually go a little bit further, a little bit faster without feeling overheated, which feels incredible. But if I didn't have access to a cold plunge at my house every day, I'd probably schedule in cold plunging 3 to 5 times per week, especially during peak training, but I would definitely try to find a way to cold plunge daily during recovery or my taper week. Like I said, I like 50 to 55 degrees for recovery and my pre-run cold plunge, but if I'm really trying to build grit, I'll go down to 40 to 45 degrees. I always cold plunge right away after a recovery run or an easy run, but after key workouts that push me, like sprint work, tempo runs, or my marathon pace long runs, I'll try to wait a couple hours, usually between 4 and 6 hours after, to do a longer cold plunge. Now I live in Florida, it's freaking hot all the time, so I do break the mold a little bit here, but sometimes it's only for 30 seconds just to cool my body down and let my body know everything's okay. Not long enough to blunt the signaling that helps with body adaptation, but long enough to just feel cooler and nice. But I do still get in a cold plunge for, like I said, 30 seconds because it cools my body down and it feels really refreshing. I highly recommend, if you can, cold plunge in the morning right when you wake up, and try to cold plunge at night before you go to sleep. It helps with recovery and gets you into a deeper sleep. And if you can really step it to the next level, contrast therapy is an absolute game changer. That's where you pair a cold plunge with a sauna or hot water. Cycling between the two can boost circulation, improve recovery, and help balance your nervous system. There are also some hidden gems. Cold plunging can actually shift fluid balance in your body, which can make you more in tune with hydration. It stimulates the vagus nerve. It can improve digestion and reduce GI discomfort, which is a big deal for runners who are prone to stomach issues on race day. It's a form of hormesis. It's a small controlled stress, which can make you more adaptable to larger uncontrollable stresses in life. Now, these might not be the headline benefits that people are looking for, but together they add up to make a more resilient athlete. So here's the big takeaway. Cold plunging isn't just about recovery. It's nervous system training, vascular training, mitochondrial enhancement, immune support, and mental toughness practice. And if you're training for a marathon, using it with intention can give you the edge that other runners may not even be thinking of. Now, if you want, I can put together a sample week showing exactly when I plunge, when to hold off, how to mix it in with your sauna, other workouts, and a normal life for maximum benefits. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see something like that on a next video, or any other questions that you might have. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your running friends, because this channel is all about taking normal people like us and showing how we can train, recover, and perform like the pros. Hey, I appreciate you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. And hey, speaking of next video, I'm gonna have a couple of the review videos of the Coldure product pop up right here. I encourage you to take a deeper dive into one of those videos. I think you'll like it, and make sure you use the link and discount code that is down in the description of this video if you decide to purchase. Thank you.